our recipe, tax cuts for the rich, deregulation, let markets run wild, is a recipe for long-term economic growth and stability. They've been proven very, very wrong.
Mr. Stiglitz, we're going to let you go in about 60 seconds, but I want to come back to the full audience right now and plug your personal website. I forgot to do that. Here we go.
Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
Well, we've kept him a little bit longer than he originally was coming on. I hope to get him for a full hour in the near future.
Love to do that.
JosephStiglitz.com, Stiglitz, but the great part about Google is if you misspell Joseph Stiglitz, you'll still get his website. So JosephStiglitz.com, and he's written quite a few best-selling books. The new one's just been out for a few months. The most recent book, The $3 Trillion War, The True Cost of the Iraq Conflict.
The paperback just came out with a new afterword trying to keep us, bring us up to date.
Oh, so just a brand new one just came out then.
That's right. Bring us up to date on what's happened since the last edition came out.
Well, we appreciate all your time. Anything that I didn't bring up or anything you didn't bring up?
It was good discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Stiglitz. Take care.
Thank you.
There he goes, ladies and gentlemen. Joseph Stiglitz joining us. Look, I mean, I can have the head of the New York Business School on. By the way, we're going to set him back up for the show. We can have any of these people on. We can bring them here and tell you this. I mean, you heard Stiglitz say worse than the Great Depression is what we're facing. And then you look at the on-the-ground situation. I keep repeating this because 90% of the American people live in urban areas. That means in cities and built-up suburbs. Of the 10% that live in what you can call rural areas, the last census, 10%, about half of them, or 5% of the public, are somewhat self-sufficient, and most of them say they're self-sufficient when asked in the wider survey. They have a farming supplement that was part of the larger census. They have a business census. Well, we all talked about unconstitutional. That is a side issue. Point is, we have those numbers. So 5% claim they're self-sufficient. 5%. Now, do you know what percentage were truly self-sufficient going into the Great Depression? 80%, or a little more. The problem is they were not economically self-sufficient. They had mortgages on their farms, and so they were driven off their farms at shotgun point, at police gunpoint. And I don't want to be enemies with the police here. The point is the police are going to be used to take your farms, your ranches, and I mean, these are going to be your families and neighbors. This is where you're getting your food, cops. They won't care. The feds are going to ship them in on the backs of trucks food, if it gets this bad. And the cops will literally be taking your land and your property for the banks.
Ted is ready.
They will literally be doing all of this just to get their food. And remember, none of this had to happen. You just heard the former head of the Treasury policy, the chief advisor of Ronald Reagan on economics, Dr. Paul Craig Roberts tell you this. You just heard Stiglitz, 2-time Nobel Prize winner for economics and peace on. We can have these are the top guys. The top guys don't like being wrong, so they'll tell you what's really going to happen. The hacks they put on CNBC and MSNBC and Fox Financial and all this, they'll tell you everything's great, everything's wonderful. What scares me is they're finally getting to the point of admitting everything's not wonderful. And I'm so busy that about 80% of the money I got in this world is just in a business account just to run this company for a few months. And I'm going, do I need to take that out of that account and put it in other accounts just to run this business? Should I even be on the air right now when Yahoo's talking about bank runs going on? And when the Seattle Times is talking about bank runs, and people are starting to advise bank runs, I realized that I've tried to be fiscally responsible and had enough money to run this place 4, 5, 6 months, and maybe that's even in jeopardy. Thank God for the money bomb we did, but I'm trying to expand to a TV show, building another studio right now with like 6 cameras, which are all professional, and just to put out more, better information, better packaged information for people. That's another reason I didn't go to New York. I can't fly me and my whole crew up to New York just to give a speech and hang out with a bunch of people. And I'm trying to be frugal here with your money that you've bought my videos and books and materials from. I really see that as your money. And I see it as a sacred mission to try to stay afloat. If we go into a full-bore depression, I've told my IT people, I want 2 more servers. Did we get those last week? Oh, we did. We did order 2 more servers. I mean, I want them now because we barely got the servers we need right now, and there are going to be companies going under left and right. In fact, I'm changing that. I want 4 new of those cheap, good servers now. And my crew's doing a great job. I'm just saying, folks, we are in an emergency situation. We're in the middle of a typhoon, and I'm the captain on my little ship, and I'm saying, batten down hatches, get those sails down so they don't rip off, secure the main mast, everybody else below, bail. And people are running the bailers, and the yuppies are still giggling and laughing and dancing around and smirking, and it's all, and people say, well, that's good. That's confidence. But this isn't a crisis like we've seen before. This is a top-down crisis. This isn't I just had a Nobel Prize winner on, and I said this is a bottom issue of us having to be raped, but this didn't originate from the economy. This originated from the elites. And that's why it's such a dog and pony show to say, oh, some people that lied on their mortgage forms, they caused that. No, the banks decided 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, to stop issuing unlimited fiat to the bottom. See, because they'd already gotten us. In 2007, at the start of the year, it was announced that in 2006, we had become a net debtor nation individually, greater than even in the depths of the Great Depression. And at that point, they flipped the switch. They had gotten us in debt. They had bankrupted us, and now it was time for receivership. That's why banks, quote, make their money. They issue fake liquidity on a balance sheet or now a computer, but the real assets are the farms, the ranches, the companies, the intellectual properties, the technologies, the military companies, the media companies, the infrastructure, the commodities like gold and silver and timber and uranium and bauxite and nickel and all of these things, and oil and all its derivatives. That's what they do during these implosions. And then they got everything they have in shipping and real assets. Now they're going to come in with a police escort. It isn't enough they are going to take. I meant to ask Stiglitz what Roberts was talking about, how they plan to take the pension funds. Bush changed the law in 2004, and Congress voted for it. So again, this is both parties. You can go pull the vote up, but I remember it was the vast majority, and Congress voted for it, to say your money in a pension fund, money they took from you out of your check, is not yours, and that companies and the government can take it. That's why Roberts just said they're planning to take your pension funds. That's why I've been screaming for 4 years they're going to take your pension funds. And newspapers have written a few articles about me and blogs going, he fearmongers and says they're going to take the pension funds with no evidence. What are you talking about? They've already taken a bunch of pension funds at the time that happened, and they changed the law where they can, that's like legalizing murder, legalizing grand theft, legalizing bank robbery. I mean, that's what it is. They wire it out of there. A guy doesn't go stick somebody up at the front counter, but it's armed robbery. You try to go stop the bank from taking your pension fund. You try to go stop they will send cops to kill your butt. And so, yes, they're going to take your pension funds, and if you don't like it, they'll gun your ass down to the street. That's how this works, folks. Now, you just heard the father of Reaganomics, the former head of the Treasury, tell you that. Now, before they did this takeover of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and we had guests on, Bob Chapman, Ted Anderson, Roberts, and others, we talked about how they were going to drive down oil, and they always do that anyways in the fall. Then it starts going up again in the spring and summer. They were going to drive down gold, drive down silver. We laid all that out, that there'd be some type of correction, and then it would race back up in the winter. Now, it was a bigger correction than I thought it would be, which is quite frankly a buying opportunity, so I'm going to try to take a meager amount of capital and put it in some gold. This is a buying opportunity. I believe it's hit bottom. And as you see them bailing out trillions of dollars and talk of the Treasury going insolvent and talk of Great Depression from Nobel Prize winners, and the mainstream media is talking about bank runs, it is smart to have 5, 10, 20% in silver, in gold, in palladium, in platinum. And I believe that people should do this. I mean, I bought gold at $280 an ounce, and I bought gold at $1,000 an ounce, and I feel good about every purchase, and I haven't sold any of it. because it is my emergency backup. It will always have some intrinsic value. It can't be devalued down to nothing. And when the bottom finally falls out,